So with all the continued outrage within the Persona 5X community, the companies responsible have published a brand new letter for us. This is addressing many of the issues people had with the game, which I did detail in my previous video, and several issues that I did not touch on as well. Note that I'm not gonna read through the full letter. If you want to read it yourself, I'll put a link in the description, but it should be enough if you either watched my previous video or know a little bit about what's going on, that you're able to follow along. So, they start with the basics. Thank you for your patience and support. Launched last June, there's a lot of feedback, and they're going to outline the concerns and questions that people have had in regarding the differences between the Chinese and Asia versions versus the Japanese and Western version.
The contract has been sealed.
If you watched my previous video, I explained that in the original servers, there was a second banner system that was added later after the game's launch that had a 100% chance of you getting the featured character. In exchange, the overall rates are lower, and the hard pity is higher, so it ends at 110 pulls instead of 8. This system was implemented about 6 months after launch in the original release. The first thing they note is that they are, in quotes, currently considering implementing the system into the JP and Western release. And if you're wondering about the wording here, I'm not sure if this is a mistranslation, but later in the letter they do say, for the Japanese and Western versions, we are currently making adjustments in order to release it earlier than 6 months into release. So that kind of sounds like they're going to release it, and currently considering is just the details they're currently considering about it. There is a downside to this, and that is that without the soft pity that the Taiwan, Korea, and Chinese servers have, this banner is statistically less good than the actual 50-50 banner, but that's statistically speaking. And this just kind of comes down to numbers and everything. Many people have been burned by losing every 50-50 and going to hard pity each time. So I'm sure a banner where you are just guaranteed to get the character at 110 pulls will make you feel better overall. This is one feature, regardless of the statistical analysis, I'm glad is coming. I did not address this in the previous video, so to explain, a Cognitite is basically a dupe of a character, something akin to Genshin Impact's Constellations, Zenless Zone Zero's Cinemas, and Honkai Star Rail's Eidolons. Using those because those are the games that I've played, and those are also very popular gacha games. You can use it to give your characters more power, and it typically can only be obtained from getting a duplicate of a character you own. However, within Luful's Plan 3, basically a list of tasks for you to complete as you play, you could get a Cognitite as a reward for any of the existing standard 5-star characters. For the original release, Marian was part of that because Luful's Plan actually came out after she released on the standard banner, but since she is not a standard character right now, she is not part of that selection. And this led to a lot of people being very frustrated, because even in some pre-release screenshots, they did show her Cognitite in there. They are currently planning a new method for players to obtain both the Cognitite and weapon, which was one of the options for Plan 4's rewards. This special campaign will also benefit those who already obtained duplicates of Marian and her weapon. This will come around mid to late September, and the players on the JP and Western servers will have the ability to obtain 60 Cognitite shards, which can be forged into one Cognitite for the permitted 5-star characters. They will also hold a gift campaign so that players can obtain a free 5-star weapon, which will include Marian's as a selectable one. The standard banner, unfortunately, remains unchanged. It will be the half anniversary, or 6 months into the game's launch, where Marian and Phoebe come to the standard banner. And unfortunately at this point, I don't think they're really going to change this. At least for these two characters, since they are both actively mentioned here. And if you are unsatisfied by this, you probably will unfortunately have to continue voicing your complaints. They probably won't change it at this point for Marian and Phoebe, as they've doubled down twice now. But it is possible for them to change this pattern after these two characters release. And I know we don't want to keep fighting with this forever, but if you do want it to change, then continue voicing your complaints to SEGA in official forums and official channels where they will hear your feedback.
Someone fill me in. I've been literally living in a hole.
Now concerning the accelerated pacing of the updates, the team is planning to give 20 free platinum tickets and 20 platinum millicoins during 2.0 in September. There are plans to hold other campaigns as well, including the Marian one, but it is unclear what the other campaigns are. They do not elaborate on it in the letter. This is a fairly decent way to compensate for additional updates. I'm not expecting them to even it out. That's expecting a little bit too much. As long as they give fair compensation over the speed of the updates, for the most part, I'm not too bothered by it.
Okay. A gold bar.
I didn't really touch on the differences between the stores in the original release and the expanded release in the last video. This is generally just because I don't spend a lot of money on gachas, and I don't really think about the store all that much. But there are some big differences, and I don't think I have the total expertise to analyze that. The reason for these differences, according to this letter, are apparently due to different laws in both Japan and Western countries, which is fairly understandable. Ultimately, there's nothing we can really do about that, but they do plan to try to equalize the content available between the regions.
Hello? Expedited pickup! Thank you for choosing our services!
They do also detail some extra features that are coming. These were in the original release and just haven't made it over to the expanded yet, which if you don't know anything about the original release, then this is new stuff. Essentially, the JP and West servers are getting tasks, which is the equivalent to expeditions in Genshin, where you just send out a unit for a set period of time to obtain items. Through this, you can obtain Cognitite shards, which, as I said before, can be used to craft a Cognitite for a character. They note that they will expand the number of characters the Cognitite shards are available for. When it initially debuted in the original release, it was limited to standard 5-star characters. They intend to include Joker, Yusuke, Yui, and Makoto in the Cognitite shard selection for JP and West. They are also going to add a new Lufel plan at a later date, but they didn't really detail what that would be. Just that it will be part of the 5-star weapon thing that they had mentioned before for the Marian campaign.
Boomer is going to say who's really behind the mental shutdowns.
The only thing that isn't actively addressed in this that I've really heard about a lot is the Velvet Trials discrepancy. I do kind of have a feeling that only a small subset of the community is even aware of this, and an even smaller subset actually truly care about it. This is probably another thing you would have to spread awareness for if you do want it changed. However, I'm not sure if they would alter it at this point, or if they're even able to alter it at this point. We'll have to see.
Although it's not like this is the last time we'll see one another.
Honestly, the overall response is not that bad. This is like a 7 out of 10 if I had to give it some arbitrary number. The standard banner issue is probably the only thing that remains that I would argue truly matters to change. The Velvet Trials can gate you from resources, as someone left a very nice comment in my other video explaining that to me, so thank you. But so as long as the content is clearable without spending a dime in the long run, within reason. I think that the complaints aren't as important in this case, if that makes sense. This response, as far as I can tell, otherwise addresses every other concern, and it addresses my own concern too, which is the 100% rate-up banner. I think at the end of the day, this is probably the best response we get, and I'm pretty satisfied with it overall, as it does add the single thing I've been waiting for. But I would also, if I were you, wait until you see how they release this content. If there are issues with it, then, that's another thing that they're clearly not totally privy to, or at least paying attention to. So be happy for now, but hope that the stuff that gets released is still good. And you can let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, you can leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to the channel for more things Persona, Atlas, and JRPG related. Thank you for watching this, and I will see you guys next time.